Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to another video. Today we are back with the Championship predictions and I'm joined by...
Oh, me. Hello, Cookie. How you doing? I thought you were going to say my name. You caught me off guard there, lad. How have you been doing with the predictions?
Actually I haven't added up how I did against Leon,
Good.
but it is up there. I'll add it up.
Are you winning?
At the end, I think I'm still beating the guest, but we'll see, won't we?
Oh, okay.
Are you going to beat me?
Yeah, of course I am.
Well, let's get into it. Saturday's lunchtime game sees Brentford go up against Nottingham Forest. Now, Nottingham Forest just lost 2-0 to Norwich, but that's no disgrace. Norwich are flying. Brentford bottled a 2-goal lead against Derby, so they need to get back to winning ways if they want to stay in that race for the top two. I just think I'm going to see them a win here. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Brentford. I think this is going to be an obstacle because Brentford are stumbling over some games, but I still think they'll get the result over the line.
3-0 Brentford.
Wow.
That's it, lad. Come on, move on.
What makes you say that?
Nottingham Forest aren't that good, are they?
No.
No.
Well, there you go. Next up, we have a Yorkshire derby in the shape of Barnsley versus Sheffield Wednesday. Now, honestly, you can't back Sheffield Wednesday here, can you? I mean, Barnsley are flying. They're tearing up the form book. 3-1 win over Wycombe in midweek, and they just continue to win and win and win. And Sheffield Wednesday with their first point under Darren Moore against Huddersfield, but they're 9 points adrift now. Can they get out of this? Probably not. I'm going to back a Barnsley 3-0 win.
I'm going to go 2-0, just to be different from you, lad. I probably would have said 3-0, but Barnsley, man, was it like 12, 13 games without a loss? They're flying. About to knock Reading out of the playoffs as well. So.
But Barnsley are already ahead of them.
They are. That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there you go. Next up, Bristol City versus Rotherham United. Now, Rotherham were back in action in midweek. They lost 4-1 to Watford, and they go up against this stubborn Bristol City team under Nigel Pearson, who drew 0-0 in the midweek against Blackburn. I do fancy Bristol City. I just think they're a bit more solid, but you never know with Rotherham. They can turn up. I just don't see it happening here. 2-1 Bristol.
I'll go 2-0. I was going to say 2-1, but I've got to be different. So, yeah, 2-0 for me. I think Bristol City have got that one. I can't see Rotherham. I think if I'm going to put three teams down now, Rotherham are going to be it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, especially after that Birmingham win tonight. Next up, a massive game. Coventry City host Wycombe Wanderers. Now, this is massive. This couldn't be a bigger game for Coventry. Because of that defeat against Luton, things are tightening up down the bottom. Birmingham win in midweek. It needs to be a win, and we do usually beat Wycombe, but that's not a banker. We can't guarantee that we're going to win this. It could be a banana skin because Wycombe, they've thrown up a few decent wins this season, but I'm just going to back the boys. Coventry, 1-0.
2-0. Got back on. We can't lose this game. We just can't. I mean, we're probably one of the teams now. It's us, Birmingham and Rotherham, isn't it? And if Birmingham pick up some form, it's us and Rotherham, and it's not looking good. So we need to send a message. We really do. And I think if we can get those 3 points, we'll be looking okay. But it's an if. But I am going to back us 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Next up, we see Millwall play Middlesbrough. An interesting game. Millwall were 2-0 up against QPR and they bottled it. They lost 3-2. But Middlesbrough are still with that outside chance of making the playoffs. And who knows, with Reading faltering, could they be one of the teams to sneak in there? I'm going to back Middlesbrough. I do think they're a bit more solid and they've got more to play for. Millwall not really playing for anything anymore. So Middlesbrough 1-0.
I'll go 1-1, just straight down the middle. I think Middlesbrough can be good, and then they can also be not very good. Exactly the same with Millwall. So I'm just going to stick on a boring 1-1 there.
1-1. Next up we see Norwich play Blackburn Rovers. Could be an interesting one. Norwich obviously flying towards the title and no one's stopping them now. I mean, they're flying towards 100 points, to be honest. This Blackburn team are not in a great moment under Tony Mowbray. They've just they're stumbling over the line. They just want their season to end because there's nothing else to play for, and I think Norwich will win this 2-0.
Yeah, I think the result, I'm going to go 3-1, but I think it's pretty much fair enough. Tony Mowbray, when he had Coventry, when he was manager of Coventry, very, very similar to what we're seeing from Blackburn right now. We stomped League One under Tony Mowbray, and all of a sudden, it just dropped off. Exactly like what's happened to Blackburn. So I think another loss is coming their way. And what did I just say? 3-1. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1.
Next up, Preston play Luton Town. it's another game where I feel like there's not a lot to play for both teams. Luton, I've got to say, credit to them. They looked really good against Coventry. Should have won by more in the end. The red card did change the game, but Luton looking really solid. Fantastic stuff from this season. And they go up against Preston, who lost obviously to Middlesbrough. It just is so hard to predict these kind of games because you don't know what's going to happen. One team might be more motivated than the other, but I don't see a lot going on. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win. Who was it again?
Luton.
Luton, yeah, sorry. I think Luton are one of these, they're like, what I said about Middlesbrough, the same sort of thing. They can be alright or they can be pretty meh. And I can't really see a lot coming out of that game. So I'm going to give Luton a benefit of a doubt and give them a 1-0 away win.
Yeah, I've got to say, I did like watching Luton the other night. They're a decent team. Next up, we've got Reading versus Queen's Park Rangers. Now, after what we've seen tonight, Reading are really giving that playoffs. They're giving the playoffs to other teams, aren't they? They just keep slipping up in stupid games, and this is a game they've got to win, surely, against Queen's Park Rangers that are mid-table, not playing for so much. But do you know what? I'm going to give this to QPR, especially after that 3-2 win against Millwall. I've got to say, QPR, they just look slightly better to watch at the moment. I'm going to back them to win this 2-1.
I'm going to have QPR 2-0. We've literally just watched Reading lose to Birmingham. They didn't create anything. They scored a goal through a mistake from the Birmingham goalkeeper, and it was just I said in the game, they look like, if you were to have a guess at where these two teams sit in the league, and I told you one was at the top, one was at the bottom, you'd have probably said Birmingham were at the top. Reading were that bad. And I've been saying it all season, they're not going to make the playoffs, and etc, etc. And I think Reading fans now will probably be like, actually, I think that geezer was onto something. I think he could see it. And I think we're seeing it unravel. I really do. And QPR, I think they're going to do them in 2-0. Honestly, Reading are not good enough. Not good enough. They really aren't. And I've said it all season. It's just, I think coming to the end of it now, it's starting to show itself, and obviously all the Reading fans are going a bit quiet. It's
going to be interesting. Time's running out, and Reading, it's getting close now, isn't it? Next up, we have Stoke City versus Derby County. A game where both teams might want the points, but not a lot to play for. I do feel like Derby do need a few more to get over the line, but they should be safe, and Stoke City won't make the playoffs unless they go on a mad run, but even then they still might not make it. Do you know what? I'm going to back Derby. I haven't backed them much this season, but they are a solid team, and I was really impressed by how they came back against Brentford. So Stoke 0, Derby 1.
I'm going to go 0-0. I just think it's going to be one of those, Derby going to set up they're going to set up defensively, and that's how it will be. Just 0-0.
Yeah. Next up, we watch Watford play Birmingham City. I don't know what to think after Birmingham winning tonight against Reading, and with Lee Bowyer at the helm. Can Birmingham do a madness and just go on a crazy run and really escape early this season? They go up against Watford, a lot of people's favourites to sneak into second place this season. Tricky. I'm just going to back Watford. I do think Birmingham look a lot better, and I think Lee Bowyer probably will keep them up now, but Watford 1-0.
I'm going to go 2-1 Watford. While I just praised them for beating Reading and said that you probably would have guessed they were at other ends of the table, etc., I still think like they're not good enough to get anything out of this game. Like, they were good against Reading, don't get me wrong. Reading couldn't cope with their aerial threat. It was just one of those things. But I think Watford have got more about them than Reading do, and I think they're gonna turn over Birmingham. Although they do look a bit better than what they did when it was under Karanka. So fair play to them.
The late kick-off is the Welsh derby, Swansea versus Cardiff City. Both teams with a bit to play for, especially Swansea trying to cement second. But that 3-0 defeat to Bournemouth really has hurt them, and this will really hurt them as well if they lose to their rivals. Cardiff City still with that outside chance of making the top 6, but that draw against Stoke hasn't done them any favours. I'm going to upset one set of fans here. It's so hard to pick between these two. I've got to say, I've been impressed by both teams this season, so don't hate me. I'm just going to back Swansea 1-0. I just think they look a little bit more convincing. Cardiff have just faltered a little bit lately.
2-2. Goals. It's a derby. I want to see some goals. And I think, just Cardiff. Where are Cardiff? They're chasing the playoffs, aren't they?
They're chasing the playoffs.
I think they're gonna want it. I think they're gonna want it a bit more than Swansea, but I don't think they're gonna make it. So I'm gonna go 2-2. Nice, entertaining game.
Yep. And the final game is a rescheduled game. Obviously, Huddersfield were meant to play Bournemouth, but Bournemouth have progressed in the FA Cup, so I'm going to back Bournemouth 1-0 when this game comes around.
Huddersfield, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Bournemouth 3-1.
Bournemouth 3-1.
Yes.
Yeah, they look solid, don't they?
Yeah.
That wraps it up then, guys. That is the Championship predictions for the weekend's game. Some big games coming up, and it is, unfortunately, the last set of fixtures before the international break. But cheers for watching, guys. Make sure to leave a like, get your predictions down below, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.